All right. Welcome to another streaming review. Just got through watching Marvel's What If episode 5. Killmonger saves Tony Stark. The episode that was weird. I mean, it was just, it didn't make much. It didn't. All right. It made sense in the context of the episode, but as far as in context to what we know, it didn't make much sense. Okay. That being said, it started out the same as Iron Man. It really did. It had Iron Man sitting in a Humvee, talking about, you mind if we get a selfie? And dude's like, yeah. And then, gang signs and all that good stuff. So, it really, it started out the same as Iron Man. It had all the feel of it and everything like that. The biggest thing with this episode was when the change happened, was when the Stark missile was supposed to explode and wound Tony so he could be kidnapped. Yeah, that missile exploded, but it did not affect him whatsoever. It was one of those things where Killmonger just steps in, grabs this thing, and hurls it like he's a super soldier or something. Now I know Killmonger's, I know he's pretty dope and he's pretty much a badass. I get it, but still, the fact that he throws the missile, that was like, okay, that was pretty cool. Saving Tony. Obviously, once that event happened, it changed everything. I mean, Tony no longer becomes Iron Man. There's no longer technically the reach is far impacting because there's no Iron Man, there's no War Machine. Then Tony hasn't developed any of the armors he's going to need and he's going to use, and then there is no I am Iron Man snap to wipe away Thanos. So it kind of makes you curious what happens there. What would actually happen in the long run of the MCU. I feel like he would still be, in some way, he would be a part of it, but not as big of a part as he played. Killmonger was actually voiced by Michael B. Jordan. That was a good thing. I can co-sign on that. Happy was voiced by I almost said Kevin Feige. Yo, real talk, forgive me. It's like, it's early in the morning, the day of this What If. So, Jon Favreau, excuse me. And everybody else, with the exception of Chadwick Boseman, did voice T'Challa and Black Panther. But everybody else, Tony Stark, Pepper Potts, they were all voiced by other people, which I picked up on the Pepper one, and it was like, it kind of broke me for a moment, because I'm like, I thought they were bringing back the actual actors and actresses that played their characters for What If. Yeah, they didn't. Not all of them, at least. Not for this episode. Kind of bummed out by that. When I saw the credits and I saw who was who and everything, that kind of bummed me out just a bit. So I gotta knock it a little bit for that, because it is what it is. But still, the whole series of events just changed. I mean, you had Killmonger ends up being promoted at a press conference by Tony to head of security. And then Killmonger outs Obadiah Stane as being the one who orchestrated the kidnapping. And basically Obadiah is fired. Then Killmonger's promoted to COO, which was Obadiah's position. And then things go sideways. Tony and Killmonger start working over a project that he was working on in college. And basically, they did a. I draw the parallels between this and the movies because it's what you have to go on as far as what we've seen in actual footage. They basically developed a better version of the hemorrhoid. Like, no lie. And it turned out the same way, which is kind of sad. They basically built a it's not even a mobile suit. It's a drone. Is really what it is. And they needed a source to power it. And Tony, this is the funny part. Tony's laying there thinking about what he could do, and he just grabs his chest. He's like, you know what? We could miniaturize an arc reactor. And he's like, nah, that'll never work. That made me laugh. I thought that was funny. Like, yeah, okay, that'll never work. Not at all. Nope. Sure won't. Nope. That's why you have, like, all these awesome armors. I mean, I think the most awesome of them all is the bleeding edge armor, but still, what are you gonna do? And then to get vibranium, which is what Killmonger suggests they use, Tony orchestrates a thing with Rhodey, and Don Cheadle actually did voice Rhodey, which I was very happy with. But they made it look a legit mission, and they sent Rhodey to oh man, what's his name? Oh boy, that they encountered in Age of Ultron, whose name is totally slipping me right now. Anyhow, when they sent Rhodey there to acquire vibranium, all of a sudden Black Panther shows up. Now, keep in mind, the Avengers hadn't been formed, and all this good stuff because of the way things changed. And Black Panther comes in, and he basically is like, he kills everybody except for Rhodey, and he tells Rhodey, look, we don't have a quarrel with you. We just want to get what belongs to us back. And I'm like, I get that. 100% understand that. And so in all this, Killmonger shows up. And then he starts fighting Black Panther. And then he kills him. I was like, what in the world? So, moving on, Rhodey's being killed as well by Killmonger. Black Panther was killed by Killmonger. So he's kind of living up to his name at this point. He is just living up to his name all the way around. Then he gets back to the States. He meets with Tony. And when you're in Tony's house, you are basically in you're in Tony's prison if he wants you to be. And Tony then starts questioning Killmonger. Jarvis sees everything, is the way he phrased it. And he wants to know why. And then Tony's like, yeah, I melted down that little vibranium ring, and it made an excellent power source. So then he sends in Killmonger's drone that he helped Tony develop, and Tony uses the drone to try to kill Killmonger because he just wanted revenge. I mean, Rhodey was his best friend. Makes all kinds of sense, right? Well, Killmonger's like, okay, I'm gonna have to go old school because the thing was taught everything, all of its fighting and everything like that, how to adapt by Killmonger. And unfortunately, you teach, but you don't teach all of what you know for that very situation. Killmonger used that to his advantage. Basically, Killmonger uses a vibranium spear that he brought back, and he ends up destroying the machine. And then he kills Tony. So Tony's down. So now we're down Rhodey. We're down Black Panther. And now we're down Iron Man. who isn't Iron Man. Yeah, so it's looking kind of dismal for those who are like me and were Iron Man fans. It's looking pretty dismal for this whole situation. Well, then Thunderbolt Ross shows up. He starts talking to Pepper, and basically the military takes over Stark Industries, and they develop a whole mess load of these drones. And it was all perpetrated to make it look like, to basically make it look like Wakanda had attacked the whole situation. So they were fixing to go all out war against Wakanda, and they take all the drones, they fly them over there, and then Killmonger meets up with old boy. I'm still drawing a blank on his name. Anyhow, Killmonger meets up with him. They drive to the edge of the... is it a force field? Is it a shield? What is it? Have we determined what it is? I would call it a shield. That's what I would call it. They basically drive up the edge of that. Killmonger gets out of the Jeep, walks up to it, and then he walks back and blows old boy away. Which, that's the old-fashioned get back for the family. And then he walks through the shield, being Wakandan and all, and he goes to the guards, and the guards take him to King T'Chaka, and he drops the dead body right at old boy's feet, and there you go. And basically says he wants to fight for Wakanda, and tells them about what's coming. If they open it up and let the drones inside the shield, then once the shield is closed behind the drones, then Jarvis's ability to track and control them will be effectively neutralized. Well, it worked that way, and then all of a sudden Killmonger has a button he presses, and it brings the drones back, and they start fighting the Wakandan army. And pretty much after that, it's like Killmonger goes out and he's hollering out Wakanda forever. And I it's like, okay, is he playing? Is he playing, or is he being, is he being real? And then I'm not even gonna, with respect to Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther, I'm not even gonna try to say the chant, but they were chanting the same chant that they did in Black Panther. It's like the Mbambe or something like that. I mean, that's as good as you're going to get out of me. Sorry. I'm not going to go no further and butcher it no more than I just did. And as Killmonger's riding on one of the rhinos, blowing through all these drones and killing them and everything, destroying them, one of the guards hollers out for T'Challa. And, basically everybody starts hollering that chant. And they wipe out the drones effectively. And then you see Killmonger just standing at the edge of a cliff looking out at the sunrise. And T'Chaka walks up and he's like, "Is it the way you imagined it?" And they have exchange a few words. And then all of a sudden you see Killmonger kneel and basically pledge I can't speak this morning. Pledge fealty to Wakanda and to the king, and says he's a humble servant. And then basically they give him the same purple juice as they gave T'Challa, and they make him the new Black Panther. Well, in the spirit world, he has a confrontation with T'Challa, and that was kind of neat. Basically T'Challa's like, "So did you get what you were after? Did it go the way you wanted it to?" And he's like, you know, Killmonger's like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to accomplish the goal. And T'Challa's like, well, basically, long and the short, he's going to get his comeuppance either in that world or in his world. And he actually phrased it in his world, meaning the spirit world. So that's pretty much where that ended. It leaves off with showing Killmonger as Black Panther, which we've seen that before. No new surprise there. We've actually seen that in live action. Yeah. So all in all, I'm still 110% on board with the animation style of this show. It is amazing. I love it, and I believe, I'm not going to say it's a mid-season finale, but I believe that this is a mid-season episode. So I don't know if they're going to do the typical trope and they're going to take a couple weeks off and then come back with more, or if we're just going to continue rolling into episode 6. Might have been, I think I said episode 5, but I think this is episode 6 at the very beginning of the video. So that's my bad. Anyhow, I enjoyed it. I give it all the thumbs up. You know, I grade these differently because it is animation style. You can do things in animation that you can't do in live action per se. It's cheaper to do it in animation than it is in live action, at least. Because in live action you got to do a lot of CGI and everything else. So yeah, I mean, I'm on board with it. I'm really digging this. I hope this what if thing, I hope it continues on and on and on. I would like to see this roll for a while. I really would. I'm really invested in it. So good job, Marvel. You guys have done amazing work with this. I'm very, very surprised. It takes a lot for me to want to watch a cartoon. I know I mentioned this back in the 1 through 3 reviews. I know I mentioned it there. Basically, the only other cartoon that I've watched of this caliber would be the Animatrix. That's mainly because it is tied into one of my favorite movie franchises of all time, if not my favorite. So that being said, yes, this is something I will continue to watch. I will continue to put these reviews out for you guys. I hope you like them. I really do. If you don't like them, you got to tell me. If you do like them, it would be neat to know. It really would. So I'm trying to stay more consistent with content. I've kind of made up my mind. We're going to see Venom, letting you know what's going on there. We will be seeing Venom versus Carnage, and we will be seeing Eternals, as well as December's going to bring 2 movies. Whew, it's going to be a tough month. December's going to bring Spider-Man No Way Home and Matrix Resurrection. So that kind of gives you the 4 big movies. Also did a trailer reaction for Hawkeye's series starting November 22nd. That'll be something that we'll be incorporating. I'm going to get off here and get to work on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Thank you guys for watching. Keep an eye out for the review for Falcon and Winter Soldier and the review for Loki. Going to do that one too. And whatever other movies I might sneak in. Also, one final thing. Do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and leave comments. Leave comments down below. It's not hard. I ask very little. Please. And before I let you go, I just want you guys to know, thank you for watching the content. Thank you very much for those of you who have reacted and interacted and everything like that. Jump on the Discord. I try to post stuff up there. I'm trying to get that back more engaged because it's been kind of dormant for a year or so. Keeping transparency real with y'all, I honestly try to do the best I can. And the more positive feedback or even negative feedback that I see, it really makes it a lot easier for me to want to do stuff. So thank you very much for watching. I am James XG Wolverine. You guys have a great day. Keep your eyes peeled for the next content and maybe even a live stream or two. We're going to figure it out. Thanks for watching, guys.